We're about to have a sales call, dog. This is what we do. This is what we do. Over.
Chicken, Michael speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, Michael, this is Andrew. Is Paul available?
Yes, can I put you on hold for a moment?
Absolutely.
Your call is important to us.
Pepper, chicken is Paul speaking. How may I assist you?
Hey, Paul, this is Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Yeah, I know we had set some time, time aside today to speak. How are you on time?
Oh, for the marketing.
Yeah.
Yes. What time did we say? I do apologize.
No, it's fine. We agreed on 11 today, but if you're busy, we could do it a little bit later or whatever is right for you. If I call you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it a little bit later. What time would work for you?
I'm free up until 1, and then from 1 to about 3, I have a couple calls. So I would say either we can do anytime before 1, or we can do
earlier. Yeah. Let's do 12:20.
All right, 12:20.
I know it's a weird number, but
Absolutely. And by the way, do you have a cell? That way I don't tap the business line.
no, you can just call me here.
Chloe, you here?
That's fine.
Absolutely. Oh, okay, Paul. I'll call you at 12:20.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
As in every play? Kill? The same 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 as...
Wesley goes down, you should see it. What's going through your mind?
I was trying to figure out what I was doing. Hey, I don't know.
You just decided to step back and take the three?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at him and he was looking at me. I don't know what he was doing. What he was going to say. I just shot it.
It looked like you didn't want to shoot the three at first, and then
I was going to shoot it, but I was waiting to see, figure out what was going on. I was confused.
The play was dead. You always let it look like the play was dead.
Yeah, like it was going, like the red call side of the box. The free throw. Cousins saying that what's up with that shooting form? He gets the free throw. Cousins saying that what's up with that shooting form?
Copper Pot Chicken. Michael speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, Mike, this is Andrew. May I speak with Paul again?
Sure.
Thank you.
Your call is important to us. We'll be right with you.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Paul. How's things picking up at the restaurant?
We're good actually right now. We have a little bit of time.
Okay, cool. Are things getting busy, or how's your Thursday mornings usually look?
Usually we are pretty busy, but I have some extra staff in today, so I have some time, definitely.
All right.
If you want to just come in, you can come in right through the front.
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah, I mean, if you're
I'm not here. Yeah, I'm actually at my office. I'm not even here. I'm not even by the location.
okay.
Yeah, you want to just talk?
Then
You want to just chop it up on the phone real quick?
you're fine.
Okay, cool. All right, Paul. So this is,
Yeah, whenever you.
Yeah, Paul. So this is kind of like how I wanted to kind of get out of this call. I kind of just wanted to take the first 2-3 minutes to just explain myself, kind of like I did last time, just like, the value we bring to our clients, how we help restaurants, and how we think we can provide value to you. And then after that, and basically, what differentiates me from any other person, basically, or a company that does similar work. And then I'll turn the tables a little bit to you and just find out more about, your company, because I really love what you're doing. I love how niche your restaurant is and how you kind of narrowed in with what you offer on the menu. I think it's beautiful, and that's kind of why I reached out to you in the first place. So that's kind of like what I wanted to get out this call. And before I go on, like, was there anything in particular? Because I know you said that you have a social media person, and you're never the person that kind of turned down anybody. So I guess was there anything else you was trying to get out this call?
No, I mean, like I said, I wanted to have you come in so I could see physically what you're talking about. I mean, honestly, I know we're happy with our
Got
media
it.
person, so I don't want to lead you on and let you think that, like, by coming to see me that's going to change.
Right.
But what I was looking for is for you to come in and speak with me directly. That way, I actually have something I can say when I bring it up with my managers and say, hey, I sat down with this gentleman. He showed me this presentation, and this is what could benefit from you guys if you were to do it. I am going to preface though, I know that we're content with our management and our media. She's been with me now for over a year. She's been with the company for over like 7 or 8 years.
Right.
So there's really not much that we're looking to do as far as changing things up. If your company has something that we may be able to do as an addition to what we're already doing,
Right.
that's where I'm interested in talking. But being honest, as far as like finances and all things like that, we probably aren't going to be looking to pay very high or pay into any kind of marketing. Our marketing that we do have takes care of. He's the one that does place the ads through the multiple sources that he uses as ads. He has multiple print companies that we use in order to get flyers and things like that at large discounts, because we do have full restaurants that we market for at the same time.
Right.
And our social media marketing person is someone that's very well adept and has a great track record with some very high-end accounts. So, I mean, I was asking you to come in so that I could physically meet you and see what you had to offer. But I mean, that is pretty much where we stand in the situation, as far as where we actually have and the loyalty that we've built with the accounts that we already have.
Right. Well, Paul, you got me excited.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got me excited. I'll tell you why. So I work with restaurants and medical spas, in particular. That's kind of like my 2 verticals, and I work with about 5 restaurants currently. And every single restaurant that has brought me in has a social media person. So that just got me excited. I'm not sure how familiar you are with track, but have you heard of Usain Bolt? Like the runner?
Say again?
Have you ever heard of the runner Usain Bolt? Okay, cool. So like you have Usain Bolt, and then you have guys like Jesse Owens, people who run like miles and things like that. So me personally, I don't do any social media posting or anything like that. The companies that bring me on and restaurants that bring me on, you usually already have a person that does that type of stuff. So when you say in addition, that kind of got me excited, because that's exactly what I do. I work in addition to what you already have going on. So I'm not a person that takes thousands of pictures and then, you know, creates the content calendar. That's not really my role, and companies that bring me on usually do that. So that's number one. That got me excited. And number two, as far as coming in, I would love to, and I'm definitely willing to do that. I guess I just wanted to talk to you for 10 minutes, just so when I come in, I know if there's a fit I can even plug in. You know what I mean? Because if you're already doing what I do, which I'm not sure if you are, but there's so much that I do. I wouldn't even know what to talk to you about when I came in. So I just wanted to talk to you for like 10 minutes to see, you know, figure out your goals. What aren't you doing, right? Because you're doing print, you're doing social media, you're doing a great job. Which is why I reached out to you, because I don't particularly work with restaurants that don't do anything, because then that's a hard job for myself. So I know you're doing a lot. I just wanted to see if I am going to do anything in addition, what you were looking to, you know, I guess where you were falling short or where you think you could be stronger as far as marketing. So that's kind of why I didn't want to come in, because I wouldn't even know what to talk to you at. So yeah, so I guess with that being said, that kind of segues me to you guys, because like you said, you are doing a lot on social media, and the pictures are great. Like, your social media person is absolutely fantastic. The pictures that she posts and the stuff that she does, like, that's the type of person I would want to work for, because she creates great content. Now me, I'm focused on getting you known and making your awareness to a new set of audience. So for example, let me look at your Instagram really quick. You have about 709 people following you on Instagram right now. That's great. And your social media person is creating great content for those 709 people. And the point of a social media person like the person you have is so you want to create that great content so you stay on top of mind. I used to live in Beverly Hills, and the old Hollywood saying is out of sight, out of mind, right? Which is why you have somebody constantly posting so you can get these people to come in. So what I help restaurants do is create more of an awareness, so your social media person is reaching more people. Do you understand like the difference? So it's like a Usain Bolt, which is a fast-paced runner, versus a Jesse Owens who can run a mile. Like, even though it's running, it's two different skill sets. Does that make sense, Paul?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, cool. So I guess with that being said, that explains myself. So, you know, kind of turning the ball over to you. Out of all the stuff that you are doing, right, the Groupon, the Facebook, the Instagram, the print media, like, out of all that stuff, I'm curious, like, what is working the best for you as far as bringing people in the door?
I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, almost all of it ends up giving us some form of business, because we're not new at this game.
Right.
As far as when I do my marketing, when I do my planning, when I have those photos done, those are not, you know, those are not just coincidence.
Right.
It's all planned. So if I have, like, typically Thursday is the day my media manager comes in. She'll already have plates ready to roll for her to take photos of. So I plan those items knowing that they're items that I'm trying to push or items that I want sold. As far as my print and marketing media, we use the major players that are in the town and in the area, along with some major print companies, to allow us to get a high discount on our flyers and our paper items. That we do on occasion do the flyers. We will go out and like hand out menus and that kind of thing. But to be 100% honest, our Instagram pulls in a fair amount of business. Our word of mouth pulls in a larger amount, which for me is more important, because I don't care about the gimmick. I don't care about whether or not, you know, the photo looks really good and the content in the paragraph looks really good. Right. I more want people coming into this restaurant leaving saying that they were content, happy, and then telling 10 people. We all know the statistics. We all know that, you know, one person comes into a restaurant, they have a bad experience, they tell 7 people. We also know that one person comes into the restaurant, they had a good experience, they tell 2. Now, my goal is to make sure that everybody that I have come in, they tell 2 people. You know, so when they come into this restaurant and they have a bad experience, we do everything we can to make sure that we go above and beyond and make sure that they know they're being taken care of. If they didn't like the food, if there was an issue, if it was cold, if it was not to their liking, if it was just, sometimes it's a flavor profile thing that I spice it a specific way and some people can't handle those kind of spices. I take that back, I take it off your bill, and I'll send you a new item out. So we do everything we need to do in order to do it. Now, my question to you would be, what would be your plan to try and increase that 709 to come in and sit down with me.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I have to end the conversation. So I would say the best thing to do now is to have you come in tomorrow and give me a presentation on how you expect to get those 700 followers up to 1,200. And if you're able to present me something like that, then I can actually say, okay, this is worthwhile working for it. Otherwise, I'll be honest, marketing to me as a chef is it's not my main focus. The business needs it, and we do need the word of mouth, but because of our word of mouth business and because of what we're doing, we are handling what we need to handle. And I don't want to say that in a way that makes it seem like we're disinterested.
Right.
It's just a matter of knowing our clientele, knowing our customer. You have to understand now, I've opened this restaurant about a year ago, and this restaurant has organically changed because of the customer. We listen to what our customers have to say. We listen to what they want. For instance, when I first opened, we had a larger menu that was, a little overbearing for what my kitchen is able to produce, but we were able to do it. When we originally opened, though, our idea was to be more of a pizza shop where you're coming in, you're not getting proper service, you're coming in, you're placing your order, you're leaving. We were expecting people coming in, spending 10 minutes and leaving.
Yep.
That's not what this town wanted. This town wanted, we're Chadwick's Kitchen, so therefore they expected a Chadwick service. So when that happened, we had to
pivot,
kind of reevaluate it and give a full-on service and get new items in and change the menu again. And as soon as we did, we saw an increase in business. As that continued, we listened to what complaints we did have. Some people didn't want potato salad. They were looking for mashed potatoes. So then when the fall menu rolled around, we gave those things to them. So that is my goal as a chef, is to listen to my clientele, find out what they actually want, need, and like, and produce those items for them so that when they come in, they get what they want, they get what they like, and then they leave and they tell two people. Now, on the flip side, when I have that person that comes in and they don't like what they have, I can't please everybody. I can go through, hoops and jumps and do all kinds of things to try and fix the situation. But it's not always going to happen. We're going to have disgruntled customers. We're going to have people that are going to go on Instagram. We had a gentleman that came in one day. They saw a photo on Instagram, and they were disappointed because when it came to their table, when they ordered it to go, it wasn't the same plate. And I said, well, sir, you ordered a to-go item.
Yep.
So it didn't come on a plate. It comes in a to-go container, which the presentation's obviously going to be different because it's a different vessel. And he was disappointed. And that is the kind of thing that I have no control over. I can't make you not happy or make you happy because, you wanted it on a plate that you thought you were going to walk away with my, $40 plate. You know what I mean?
So, Paul, let me ask you a question, because you said something interesting to me. You said that when you work with your media manager, that you have the plates ready to go. It's not coincidence she's going to come in today. You have your plates that you want to push. And I would imagine it's kind of the same with the print. So, I'm curious, how do you determine what plates that you want to push? Because you started off as one type of, restaurant, and you kind of pivoted based off your customer data, right? People came, they wanted to stay, so you switched the concept of the restaurant. Right now, how do you determine what plates you want to push? Like, is there a scientific method, or is it just a feel, a hunch? Like, you look at your POS system and say, okay, this is starting to...
It's a combination of both. It's both scientific method in the sense that I look at my data, I look at what I've been selling, I look at what's currently selling, this town is a fickle town. It changes its mind week to week. So some weeks we'll just get slammed with burgers and wanting certain items. Other times it's, they want just the fried chicken, or they want the sides, or whatever the case is. A lot of times I also base it on what the price of the market is. So say for instance, I know right now beef has just dropped down to a price point that's super affordable. I'm going to order more beef right now, and I'm going to try and push the hamburgers. I'm going to try and make a new meatloaf and say, okay, we're going to, for right now, and we're going to get the media marketing in, and we're going to make sure that they push that and flash that out as much as possible so people know that we have a new meatloaf. Whatever the case is what I kind of go by. So I base it off of not only the market and the expense of what I'm trying to produce, because in the end I have a bottom line line that I need to handle.
Absolutely.
I also base it off of what the clientele are telling me. I listen to the guests. I go to my tables.
Right.
Not often do you hear chefs, especially in a place like this, you don't hear about the chef going to the table and asking you how the food was or asking how, they're very common. That's all it is. It's a chef coming saying, "Oh, hey, everything okay?"
Right.
And then moving on. When you have a complaint, I'm the first one to go to your table. I don't send my management out. I send myself. I listen to the complaint. I listen to what the issue was. Was it that it was cold? Was it that the seasoning was off? Was it that they felt it was too sour, too salty, too acidic? And I make the adjustments based on their critiques. I think it's important to listen to your customer, because if you don't, then you're kind of dead in the water. A lot of chefs like to work by ego. That's not the way it's going. Like, especially in today's market, it's not going to happen. You can't just put out the food you want to put out and say that you're going to charge $52 because you think it's worth $52.
Right.
It's just people aren't going to come in. So when it comes to those kind of things, the majority of our business, the majority of our marketing is literally just listening, understanding what our clientele wants, understanding what the clientele needs, and trying to figure out something that's also going to be competitive in the market. Meaning, I have 85 restaurants surrounding me. There's about 140 restaurants in this town alone. It's the largest city on Long Island with restaurants. There are more restaurants in the city per capita than any other place in Long Island.
Right.
So it'd be stupid of me to try and think that I'm going to take this chicken place and make, put 4 burgers on the menu when I have literally over 14 restaurants around my building that are all doing gourmet 40 times like style burgers. So I ended up cutting that down, and I give you 2. I give you 2 really well done burgers. That's how I work my market. I look at the products that I have. I look at the products that are around me, and I try and say, okay, there's a Burgerology in the area. There's a Bear Burger in the area. There's a Johnny Rockets in the area. I can't do a burger that's like any of those burgers. I need to do one burger really, really well that just makes all of those other burgers a little less appetizing.
Perfect. I have a question, Paul. One second. Yeah, I have a question, because you brought up something that's, a lot of business owners don't get that, right? They work off ego. So, for example, I was speaking to one of my clients, and they was like, Andrew, you were right. The value is created after the experience. So what do I mean by that? Like you just said, a lot of restaurants have 140 restaurants around them, but they're working off ego. They're creating, menu items that they like, and they're not listening to their customers, and then they expect the doors to be flooded, right? So I like how you said that you kind of listen and you change your menu, you change what you're pushing based off the data, based off the prices. So I see that you're on Groupon here. Is that, as far as the methodology behind Groupon, why you're on it, are you on Groupon to kind of create that value after the experience? Like, do you know when somebody comes in and they try your food, they're going to come back? Is that like kind of the reason behind your Groupon?
I think, no, we started using Groupon and Cinchbucks, one, because we felt that as a restaurant group, it would be beneficial. It's not, it's not that I'm doing specifically for Copper Pot. We use Groupon. Like I said, we have 4 other restaurants in this town that are all part of the same company. So if one of our restaurants finds it to be worthwhile to use something like that, then we decided as a group and as a collective, is it something that all the restaurants can benefit from? And Groupon just became one of those items. Cinchbucks is similarly, mainly because we recognize the fact that we do have a high price point. We do have certain items that, we work with free range chicken. It's not a Popeyes. It's not a KFC where you're getting just small pieces of chicken that are basic dredge based. We have a chef's take on everything that we do. So in that respect, we looked at it and said, okay, well, Cinchbucks and Groupon offers us the ability to get some people that maybe would like to dine at our places but can't necessarily afford to dine at our places all the time. We have a huge steakhouse here in Rockville Center. We have a major Italian restaurant here in Rockville Center, and a large salsa. Hold on 1 second, sir.
Okay.
Andrew, I have to go real fast. I have a person here with some allergies I need to go take care of and make sure that they find out what they need. Let's do this. If we can schedule something for tomorrow at 12 o'clock, that'd be perfect.
Okay, great.
15.
I'm sorry.
Just 15 minutes of your time tomorrow. We'll sit down, have a quick chat about it, and we'll continue this then, okay?
Okay, great. Would you prefer me come in, or would you prefer sharing your screen? Either way works for me. That way, because I know if you get caught up.
I'd rather have a face and a name like in front of me. That way I can actually sit there and talk to my owner later and say I sat down, spoke with this person, and did it myself. You know what I mean?
Got it. And my last question last question before I let you go. That way I can kind of prepare. So you're basically interested in just growing your following. That way you can have your social media manager do what she does, or is there because you spoke a lot about reviews. I guess just so I can be prepared for tomorrow. Yeah.
If there are other facets of your business that you can sell me on, I want to hear as much of it as I can, so I can give as much information to my owners and the people that are going to make the final decisions as possible. But like with that said, I do have to go. Okay.
All right, Paul, man. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, Miriam. No problem. Just let me know how the engagement goes. Hey, Miriam. No problem. Let me know how the engagement goes. I definitely had some more ideas on how to actually drive customers, through the doors to your, brick and mortar. Hey, Miriam. No problem. Let me know how the. Hey, Miriam. Hey, Miriam, no problem. Let me know how the engagement goes. I definitely had some more ideas on how to drive traffic to your, offline store. That's what I was hoping Friday would be about. But I'm sure you made the right decision. And just let me know whenever you reevaluate that present setup, and let me know, whenever you just want to chat or need some additional brainstorming. I'm always here for you. So wish you the best of luck, and I am here if you ever want to chat, Miriam. So I'll talk to you later. Bye bye. Hey, this is Andrew. Is Cesar available?
That's me.
Hey, Cesar, what's up, my man? How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I know we said scheduled some time to speak today. How are you on time?
Good.
You good?
Waiting your call.
How's the restaurant doing today? Is it busy?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
I couldn't hear you before. Okay.
how's
Waiting
business?
for your call, so no?
Yeah,
I'm available.
How's business at the restaurant? Are things usually busy on a Thursday lunch?
Yeah, I mean, we always get rushes, breakfast rush and then the lunch rush.
Cool. When does the lunch rush usually end around?
I would say around this time. It starts winding down, 1:30 is when it's completely over.
Got it. And what's the best dish people usually be getting during these rush lunches?
Say it again?
What's usually the best dish that people usually buy during these the lunch rushes?
Well, they usually go for either like the specials. We do have specials at that time. It's either like a salmon or pasta or a steak.
Right.
Or then they go for a burger. Number one seller.
Of course, yeah, you can never go wrong with a burger, right?
Exactly.
Cool, Cesar. So this is what I like to do for this call. I know it's a bit of an informal call, but here's my kind of little, makeshift agenda. What I kind of want to do is I'll start off with me, kind of what I'm about, how I provide value to restaurants, how we get more customers in the door, how we get customers coming back, and how we generate more reviews. And then and basically kind of what makes me different. I know I sent you some stuff ahead of time in email. I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to look at that. But I'll just touch on that for like 2 to 3 minutes. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of turn the tables on you and just, ask you about how long you've been a manager there and kind of what you're, what you're doing well, what you could be doing better. And it yeah, okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said hold on and answer the phone.
No, I said
Oh, okay, yeah, and then I'll see if there's a fit, right? If I can actually, depending on what you want to do, if I can actually, if I'm actually the right person to help. So that's kind of like what I was looking to get out this call. So before I go into myself, Cesar, was there anything else you was hoping to get out this call?
No, that was it. I just wanted to just find out more information, what you were offering, and that's it. Pretty much it.
All right, perfect. So, just to kind of piggyback off what we spoke about when, we scheduled the call, is that I help bring restaurants new customers, especially during down hours, which I'm happy that you said there's rushes, right? And every restaurant knows this, right? There's special hours and there's rushes, and then basically, sometimes it gets too low, and that's what restaurants usually bring us in for. And unfortunately, some restaurants have days where people don't come in and whatever. So, I help bring restaurants new customers through social media ads and other things like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That's kind of like what I specialize in. And then we have ways to get customers back in the door, right? I work with restaurants, and open rates are just drastically terrible. They get terrible every year because emails is it worked in 1999, but as we have Facebook, Instagram, we got text messaging, we got all type of stuff. Email is now in competition with all these things, right? So we have ways to get customers back in the door. Not saying email's not important, right? Because if you have the email, a lot of business owners don't, and managers don't really know that if you take the email and you upload it to YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, these platforms are able to tell their birthday, if they're married, their anniversaries, and then you could do offers, anniversary offers, birthday offers to get them back in the door, right? Because these people can afford your services, they know who you are. So instead of emailing them a blast that they'll spam or unsubscribe, we could upload it to platforms to get them back in the door that way, since we know they're there, right? Who isn't on these, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? That's where everybody's at. So that's kind of, we have some strategies around that. Strategies to grow some of your platforms, giveaways, sweepstakes, all this type of crazy stuff. And then we have softwares where people come and they eat. Once they leave, we can send them an SMS text message because we know that those get 95% open rates. And they can leave a review on Facebook, Google, Yelp, right? And obviously we all know what that social proof does for a restaurant as far as, people walking around. They want to go to restaurants that have positive reviews on Yelp, but, restaurants that have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stars, right? That won't hurt nobody. And I see you have 530 there, right? So if you have 1,000, people are going to pick you all day. And I sent you some information via email. Were you able to look over that just so I kind of know where to start as far as my background?
Let me see. What you had it yesterday, like right after the invitation, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it's all right. I'll just explain it a little bit.
I didn't get it. I just have the invitation. I was looking for it before we mentioned it, but no, I don't see it.
I got it. Oh yeah, that's not a problem. Basically, my background is, I've been in digital marketing for about 6 years. I worked with a guy named Ty Lopez out in Beverly Hills. I'm not sure if you know who that is, but while I was out in LA, I did some consulting work with restaurants outside, and then when I finally, decided to go full time with my own business, obviously restaurants, and I also work with medical spas and kind of in the health, niche, the health industry, and I work primarily with restaurants and medical spas. And, I spent over $1 million over the past 3 years in paid promotions. So, I know what works and most beneficial to clients. I know what doesn't work, right? So I could just shoot ideas from the start, say, hey, let's not do that. That'll be a waste of money. And I think that's where a lot of the clients find my value. Besides getting people in the door, it's just like I already know what works, what doesn't, what we should try. So that's kind of like how I provide value to restaurants, and me spending over $1 million in online promotions. I've been there before as far as I know it works and how to grow databases, how to get people in the door. So that's a little bit about me. So, I'll turn the tables on you, Cesar, because I know that I'm sure a lot of people hit you up for marketing. So I guess, I'll start it off like this, very easy. Like, was it, when you decided to take this call, like what was it that I said that kind of triggered, me, my call with me out of all the people that hit you up?
Well, typically, I like to listen to people. It's people who have marketing jobs. I know it's like they always get a no right immediately. I think that you give them a chance, find out what they're about, and then if you don't like it, then just say no. Simply that.
Right.
I think it's very straightforward. But yeah, that was it. In terms of you telling me that getting more people in, that's usually what other people have told me. But like I told you, it's more about I want to hear first what they have to say, see if it's a good fit. At the end of the day, the only way that you can keep this business going is that you bring different ideas. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
Especially if you want to make changes, you have to also change your way to do things.
Right.
Sometimes you do get good opportunities, and so I was like, okay, let me just hear them out.
Got it. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you said that, 'cause a lot of business owners, they don't realize that, they bring you in for a meeting, and they're like, I need different results, right? I'm not getting business. And then you give them different ideas, and they're like, no, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, you can't have best of both worlds. So speaking of that, I guess, so it sounds like, do you currently work with a vendor? Like, I see you doing a lot of great things, which is why I reached out to you in the first place. Like, I guess, who's controlling the marketing? I know somebody, Nas pointing me in your direction. Are you doing it all, or?
Well, we actually have somebody in-house who does the marketing. We call them the marketing director. And they focus a lot. They're also designers, so they design our menus. So it goes hand in hand. I believe that you having one person that can do multiple things is a good thing. So having her as the person who we can rely on, menu design or anything like that, and she can also do marketing, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, whether it's let's say even the menu board outside, then that works. So we have her. And she's here, I would say 2-3 times a week. So she does most of that.
Got it. So you say you're currently doing Facebook, Instagram. You have some stuff outside. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like what you're currently, all the efforts you're doing?
Oh, so it's just we have different menu boards, and we have our menus. We switch them around, but we also have always a board where we talk about specials. So we talk about anything that changes, or even if it's like, let's say, a holiday. So we do some sort of countdown, something like that, that we can just hype people up.
Right.
That's usually the idea.
Right.
People like to see things ahead of time. I just put myself in their place and just say what we'd like to see.
Right.
And if I know ahead of time, then I can, change my schedule around, and if I make it to that place, then that's what I'll do.
Got it. And I guess where does Groupon fit in all this? 'Cause I see that you're also on Groupon. You have the Cupping Cafe, this pancakes special here. Where does that fit into all of your marketing efforts?
Well, right now we put Groupon on pause. Actually.
Right. Yeah, I see it. This is not available yet.
Yeah, and we actually will be getting rid of that. And
Right.
Reason why is just there is no control over it.
Right.
It's more like, since they switched to a new system, it's more geared towards the customer as opposed to
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So, if I was to get a Groupon deal, of course I'd be happy if I get a cheaper meal, whatever it is. The only thing is that, we can't control when people are coming, whether it's brunch, we typically don't take those vouchers. But now since they're doing credit cards, then that's a whole different story. We can't control that. So in that case, the same people that were already coming without the Groupon are now coming in with the Groupon. So it's like we're...
And no credit card, right, exactly. They're not buying nothing extra, all that.
Exactly. So that's the reason why we just decided to just let it go. We're like, it's not working. We'll move forward. We were expecting new customers.
Right.
That was the idea behind that. That's the way the way it was sold to us, and they were not getting those results. So that was the reason that we decided to go forward with it, and we're like, let's just cancel.
Got it. And actually, I think says you strike me as you're very knowledgeable, because you said something that really stuck out to me. You said that you can't control it, right? That it's not on demand, right? You can't push a button and get people in the door. So, the thing with, because, I do a lot of Facebook stuff, I do a lot of YouTube stuff, do a lot of Instagram stuff. And, I know with Facebook as well, they changed their algorithm in a sense where, it used to be a fire hose, right? It used to be like Twitter, you post and then everybody would see it. And then, they made a change where, only people you interact with, you see it. And now for business pages, only about 2% of your following actually sees, anything you post, right? So, for example, you have, let me look right here, you have about 3,400 followers. We take, 2%, about 66 people are actually seeing the post out of the 3,400. Do you like look at the analytics or as far yeah?
Right, we do, and that's the same person that handles the marketing.
Right.
So she basically does marketing specifically for restaurants.
Right. So I guess do you notice that in the analytics as far as like the amount of people viewing your post versus the amount of followers you have?
Say it again. What was the question?
Like I'm not sure if you look at the analytics, but like for example, when a lot of restaurants bring me on, I point out to them that Facebook, their algorithm doesn't work how it used to, right? So they might have a lot of followers, but nobody's seeing their post. Have you noticed that, like with your Facebook postings? I'm not even sure if we look at the analytics, but
oh yeah, definitely. You can definitely just tell right off the bat with the likes, the amount of likes on the post, even compared to like a few years back when we had the same the same number of posts. Huge difference.
Right.
And it's also on a news feed, like when we use Facebook, and even when people post a picture that was posted about 2 days ago, and it's being posted at the top again, it's like you start to see those things. That definitely is something a different algorithm.
Right. So I guess to tie it all back around, because you said Groupon is not you can't control it. You can't. It's not. It doesn't work in demand. In a sense, Facebook organic posts don't really work in demand either. And Instagram does. Instagram's a little better, although they're changing it. Facebook is changing Instagram's algorithm to be more like Facebook now. And I guess the more people you have on your Instagram, that's when you usually capitalize on it. So, are you currently doing anything that's like that you can control? And if so, like what do you think it works the best as far as like you put a post and you're gonna get an instant ROI off that effort?
Well, we are looking into. I don't know if you heard about. I believe it's called Seeded.
Seeded,
SEATED. So I mean, they do something similar to Groupon. The thing is that with them, you actually get to let's say you're your customer, right? And you go to a restaurant. You only get to the first time that you're there, you get this deal. So you go dine. There's a minimum. There's a 50. You hit the minimum basically.
Right.
You set the time. And then they come and then they get a $5 or a $10 Uber or Starbucks like gift card. So who doesn't like free stuff?
Of course.
And I was reading the reviews, and what I noticed was that because they evolved, and meaning that they before there was no minimum. Basically, the restaurant didn't have control over that. It was more geared to the customer. So then, I guess restaurants did mention it, did complain. I don't know what happened, but there was a minimum, there was a time set, and customers did begin to complain about it. Some of them, of course, because they felt like they were getting a good deal because they had to spend the minimum.
Right.
And that's when you basically think about it, you're like, well, now it's being geared towards the restaurant business.
Right.
Because that
way we're not losing money, especially if they're coming in already for, let's say, for the happy hour and already getting cheap prices. There's no minimum, then it's not worth it to you. And to be paying them a fee or some sort of monthly fee or percentage, then it's not good for your business.
Got it.
So we're looking into them right now.
Cool. Okay, so you're looking into seated. And anything else that you're currently doing that brings in customers on demand?
No, I mean, our main focus is brunch, and
Brunch, okay.
because we've been here for 40 years, so Saturday and Sunday, we've been here for 40 years. It just brunch sells for itself.
Right.
We're very well known, so our focus more it's on the dinner, the lunch. It's understandable just because I guess the distance between the restaurant itself and businesses around here. It is definitely a walk for people to come all the way here and they only have a 1 hour lunch. That's I don't think they'll be rushing basically.
Right.
And so our focus again is the night business, the dinner, and deliveries.
Night business, dinners, deliveries, and brunch.
No, yeah. But like I told you, brunch we already leave alone because it's already good.
It's already good. Okay, cool.
It's more of like what happens here on the floor, just staffing wise. And then what we're working on that we are thinking of different ideas. It's always for the dinner, the night shift,
Got it.
happy hour, even deliveries. So those are the 4 main things that.
Got it. Okay, so night, evening deliveries, dinner. Okay, cool. So let's focus on the dinner right quick. When people, come in, what is your largest parties, right? Is it birthdays? Is it anniversaries, right? When people come in during the dinner, right, when it is busy, those large tables that bring in the most revenue, is it like usually a birthday? Is it usually an anniversary? What is it that brings those large tickets?
I would say it's the music. We also have music play on specific nights,
Right.
Friday and Saturday. So it's those. It's the music. So the musicians, they know that they also need to bring in people, and so that's when we have large parties. Large parties of 10, 15, 20, and then the other days we do run a customer appreciation special, the prefix menu, very cheap on those slow nights, and it basically helps us connect with the people who don't want to come out of those busy nights during the music, during the there's a lot of customers here, but they have been more loyal to the restaurant itself.
Okay, got it. So just help me understand this real quick. So you say that the biggest days that you have, because obviously you say you want to focus on the nights, night shift, dinner, happy hours, and evening deliveries, right? Those are the 4 things that you want to kind of improve as far as sales is concerned. Just picking one of those arbitrarily, dinners. You're saying that Friday and Saturday nights usually have the most people coming in, depending on the music.
Right, exactly.
Right. Now, I guess what music is it that brings in people? Is it hip hop or is it reggae? Is it like blues, jazz? What is the type of the music that brings in the most people?
It's more the musician themselves.
So the musician has like a following. You're saying
Yeah,
that
they have a following.
and they're popular, so the musicians are bringing in more people.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, cool. Do these musicians usually have a Facebook following themselves? Like, so you bring a musician, maybe he has 10,000 followers, or they're like completely underground? Can you talk to me a little about the
They're
music?
underground. They're locals.
Okay.
We geared toward the locals, so that's what we're known for here, just because that's been our history since the restaurant first opened.
Alright.
It was a place for local artists initially, and so we like to keep the local vibe.
Got it. So now, just help me understand as far as the inner business, as far as what you want to do. When you're thinking of ideas, do you want to drive more people to these Friday and Saturday nights, or is it similar to brunch where Friday and Saturday is already good, so we don't want to touch that?
Fridays and Saturdays, I would say, are good.
Okay,
Good
cool.
enough. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's usually those other customer appreciation days that you want to bring in people. Okay, cool.
Monday through Wednesday. Sunday through Wednesday, actually. Sunday through Wednesday.
Okay, cool. So weekend brunches are good. Friday and Saturday dinners are good. So now it's Sunday through Wednesday dinners that you want to kind of improve on. Okay, cool. So Tony Robbins always says success leaves clues. So if we look about what's working, right? So obviously you said brunch is working because you've been there for 40 years and people, it's its own thing at this point, right?
Right.
Now, if we look at the Fridays and Saturdays, though, obviously you don't want to have music throughout the whole week, whatever. But besides the music aspect of it, are there any other big ticket things besides the music? And if so, what do those customers look like? Right, those layups, those people, like why are is it usually a party of 6 that's spending $100-$200 per table, or like what's the event that's giving you the large tickets? Because I'm thinking we could find a way to promote to that and bring them in through Sunday through Wednesday. That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I look at Wednesday through Sunday, a lot of it's usually like a celebration when you have those 5 to 6 or 7 guests. It's always a celebration, whether it's an engagement, whether it's it's a birthday. So that's usually when we get those big, large parties during those non-busy nights.
Got it.
And basically people hear like the ambiance. It's what and if we look at the reviews that we have, that's always what they mention. Even if let's say something went wrong, ambiance is always number one.
Right.
So I mean for the I would say the customer, like I told you before, the customer appreciation Monday and Tuesday helps to basically to keep the people who always come back.
Right.
And we usually get a lot of tourists during those days as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I guess our locations, since we are near hotels.
Oh, that's great. That's helpful.
Yeah, so we get a lot of tourists, and we have built a relationship with those hotels as well.
Absolutely.
we send collaterals,
mm-hmm.
We send some sort of promotional stuff even for them.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I guess, and it's usually a quiet night, Sunday through Wednesday here. And so there are a lot of restaurants in this area that are known specifically for specific things. Like we have 2 Italian restaurants. One focuses on, the experience itself, meaning like the way it's decorated. They have like a center, like it's a small spot, but large windows, square place in the middle where they have the kitchen and the bar at the same time. So that you tell people go there on those nights for that. And then the other Italian restaurant was very well known for its wine. So it's sometimes you step back and think of like how much can you actually do when you have these restaurants around you as well, who are busy at night, but when it comes to the day, they're not, and we get those day people in here.
Okay, cool. So when people do come, you said they're attracted by the ambiance, right? Right, just kind of the I'm sorry, I was on mute. So yeah. So basically, what I'm hearing from you is that when people do come and they come to your restaurant, your location, they're really in love with the ambiance,
exactly.
right? With the kind of the scenery. So can you just get a little bit more specific? Like, it's just the way it's set up, right? So it's more of a visual thing that they would have to see to get kind of interested in it.
Exactly. I mean, we are an L-shaped restaurant. We have an open kitchen. It's there are brick covered walls. There's a potbelly stove that it's been working since 40 years ago.
Right.
So it's like a nice small fireplace. We have a skylight basically, and then the dining room is pretty big. So we have skylight dining room and a bar, and it's a pretty spacious area, I would say.
Right.
And then we have art from local artists hanging.
Right.
So so it's that itself.
Cool. So I'm getting a bunch of ideas as we speak. So I guess my last question, and then we could kind of begin to wrap it up and see if it would make sense to schedule a follow up after this. So basically, what I'm getting from you is that the bigger tickets, just like most restaurants, are some type of celebration, right? Birthday, anniversary, engagement, etc. Right? Those are the people that spend the most money. So obviously, what restaurant wouldn't want to have those people in the door, right? And then once people are in the door, they're attracted by the ambiance, right? I was just speaking to one of my clients, and they said something that most restaurant owners don't get, and managers. They're like, honestly, when you're in a competitive environment, and you mentioned that, right? You have other competitors around you who are known for different things. However, you can't really. It's one thing when somebody comes in and they appreciate it, but they can't really appreciate the ambiance until they experience it. You know what I mean? Right? So that's one thing, right? So the ambiance is great. However, nobody would know how the ambiance is unless they went there, or you show them through video or some type of visual, right?
Right.
So my last question to you before I wrap it all around is, okay, cool. So we want more birthday anniversaries, engagements, and we know when they come, they'll most likely come back, right? Because they're likely in the area if we're promoting to them. And the ambiance is so good, it'll get people to come back. And quite frankly, you've been there for 40 years, right? So you're doing something, right? Now, what is the promotions that's worked best currently or in the past, right? So you had the Groupon. I'm sure you picked that offering for some reason. But you also mentioned to me when we first started the call that you have specials and you have rushes and things like that, right? So you said you have a hamburger and you have salmon. But I guess when you're looking at your POS system and your metrics all together, what is the best specials or offerings that you've ran that actually get people excited and coming back just for that special?
Well, it varies per shift, I would say.
Which is good because now you have a lot of data, right? So that means you shift a lot of things. So that's even better that you do that. So I guess out of everything, just talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for brunch it would be the cupping room Benedict that we actually just recently came about. Like we basically came up with this Benedict. It's basically smoked salmon avocado Benedict. Good profit. People know that smoked salmon avocado is expensive, and the reason why it was on the menu was because when I was a server, that's what I used to sell to people. Meaning that we have a Benedict bar, so people get excited about the Benedict bar. But then we, when they're like, oh, what's the best thing? We're like, well, we tell them that story how we came about with that Benedict. So people get excited for that. And our bar, the Bloody Marys, the mimosas are very popular here. Fresh OJ, no anchovies on. So basically ingredients is what attracts people during brunch, right? And then during lunch, we do have more than just the salad sandwiches and breakfast stuff. We also have steaks, and because it's the cost is only it's only $18. The price for the steak or whatever it is, it's pretty cheap compared to what you would pay for dinner. A dinner steak, which is very similar in proportion, and it's about $6 to $7 difference. So that's what sells mostly during lunch. And of course, the burger. We have always pushed our burger, and we always mention the company where it's from. So Patla Frita. So on our menu it says Patla Frita burger, and then you get to just make your own burger. So sometimes a brand sells for itself, and you just use that brand in the restaurant, and that's what happens. And so for dinner, the lamb chops. We looked at menus around our area, and very few restaurants have lamb chops. Everyone has that half roasted chicken. Everyone has some sort of duck, fish, a pasta, but they don't have those lamb chops in the area.
How are the lamb chops as far as the cost to make it, right? Because you said earlier for lunch that the steaks are a good offering because you can discount it a little bit because it doesn't cost that much to make. So burgers is obviously would always be a good offering, but if the lamb chops is a differentiator, is it expensive to make? Like, would it make sense to maybe incentivize people to come if it doesn't make sense? I mean, if it doesn't,
Yeah, the dish is profitable for the restaurant itself. It is. And price-wise, I think it's a fair price for the location. And in comparison to the prices around, again, to the other restaurants, it's actually very good. So yeah, I mean, like I told you, it's just a matter of looking what's competition,
right.
Price point, profit, and pushing it in like a specific days. Usually those sell a lot more during the holidays, we've noticed. So we usually throw in a post here and there, focusing on lamb chops to differentiate ourselves from other restaurants. And we do collect information regarding where they're coming from. A lot of this is let's say when they make a reservation, tell us how you heard about us.
Perfect.
Where we have what do you call by the email or even the phone number, since we have the area codes from, like international area codes, so we're able to track that down. So that's when we know when we're getting a lot of tourists. That's what that's when I speak to the staff. It's like, hey, just prepare this season we're gonna get this, and that. So they're aware. And so that's the first question. And for the second question, I mean, honestly, any specific platform, not necessarily. I would say I think that's the reason why I've been trying to look for one.
Got it.
It's that's the reason why I've been giving people. That's why I like to listen to what they have to say regarding what they're offering, especially with marketing.
Got it.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all those can only go a long way. It's very
Right.
limited, especially like you said before with the new algorithm that they have. So right now my focus has been on reviews.
Reviews. Got it.
On reviews. So I also run reports, 4 to 5 stars and one to 3 stars.
Do you have a manual system where you're generating reviews? So like what I like to do with clients, like I said in the beginning of the call, I force them to collect SMSs. So whether they do a discount on pay or whether they have somebody greet them at the door and get their SMS number so we can quote unquote send you the receipt. I basically come up with schemes for these restaurants to collect the SMS. That way, after they're done eating, we can send them basically a form to send a review. And the cool thing I do is I have it set up where all the negative ones go to an email address and all the positive ones go to a platform. And you have 503 reviews, which is great. So I know you're doing a good job there. Do you have a manual system that actually gets people to do reviews, or is it kind of just when they want to?
When they want to.
Got it.
And I mean, the servers do mention it. It's always,
Right.
hey, is this your first time here? And we base it off of that. So that would determine a lot how the service would be and how we'll end service, and as simple as placing the comment card on top of the checkbook. Basically, those little things. We don't push it. We just hey, if you have the chance.
Got it.
And then and that's how we collect that. And of course, OpenTable, Yelp, TripAdvisor, and all the other platforms that do reviews.
Okay. So you told me more than I needed to know. So this is all great, and I have a bunch of ideas in my head. But before I kind of summarize it, let me just kind of recap basically everything we went over, just so I know I'm on the right page. So basically, you're saying to me that you're doing well with brunch on the weekends, and you're kind of doing well during lunch, right? Because you say you have your spikes and stuff. You're really looking, if you were to work with somebody that can help you with the night shift, and with dinners and Sunday through Wednesday customer appreciation days to get more people in those doors, right?
Right.
You said obviously Friday and Saturday nights are good because of the music and the artists. However, you can't do that every day. And so you make those days the customer appreciation days. And the people who do come at nighttime, the larger ticket items tend to be celebrations, whether it's birthday, anniversaries, engagement. Those tend to be the people that spend the most. So obviously, if we could get more of those in the door, that would be profitable for the restaurant, right?
Correct.
And then you said, okay, once we get people in the door, we're confident that Couple Room Cafe can retain them because of the ambiance and kind of your decor, your bar, the open space. People would love that. So as long as we get them in the door through some of these celebrations or whatever, we'll get them to come back because just the experience is so good.
Yes, correct.
Okay, cool. And the last thing you told me was that in order to possibly get some of these celebrations in, you have different specials. Obviously, I don't think the Benedict egg sandwich could work at dinner, but you have
we try that.
Right. But you have the burger and you have the lamb chops, right? Those are two ideas of some specials we can run to get more people in the door during those night shifts, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. So I have some good news, right? So I've worked with, like I said, about 6 restaurants currently, and the restaurants I've all worked with. We did some type of campaign like this where, sometimes it was 2 to 4 and sometimes it was night shift where restaurants need help. You kind of need help in the night shift. And basically what we do through some of the targeting features on some of these platforms, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, we can actually target people who have birthdays, anniversaries, engagement, and we can show them specific offers like the burger and the lamb chops. And then obviously, you know, we can do videos depending on what you guys or how serious you are. We can do videos showing that ambiance. That way they can see it before they come in, and that would get them interested in. And some of these campaigns, honestly, you know, we did one campaign, we generated, 1,000 people took the offer within 3 months, right? So that was a very successful campaign. So I definitely would love to, if this is something that you would want to do, if this is something that you think, you know, seeing the process, seeing the system and how it would work, I definitely would love to kind of just have a follow-up meeting to show you how I can possibly set this up for you and get more people in the door. And then obviously you already know, once people bring in, you know, birthday, anniversary, engagement, they're going to bring a whole bunch of people, and then they're going to spend, right? So even if we incentivize the birthday person, they'll bring their friends, and the friends will spend or whatever. So I definitely believe I can help you. I'm confident. I've done this before, and I would love if this is something you want to do to kind of schedule a follow-up with that, whoever you make the decision with, to kind of show you how we would get this done.
Okay. So basically, if we do, like, let's say a follow-up, right?
Yes.
This follow, what would it entail? What would it be involved?
Okay, cool. So this is usually how.
For me, what would I need from you?
Okay, cool. So this is usually how it works when I speak with a manager up front, right? Obviously, you probably have to get a board, so your marketing director involved, whoever makes the decisions, right? So the first person so usually it's like the marketing person, the manager, and the owner. So the first, how I would start the call off in full transparency is I would let the marketing person know I'm not here to take her job. I don't do postings or, you know, nothing like that. I run campaigns that are directly driven for ROI purposes, right? Restaurants that bring me in already have a social media manager that does the posting. You know, they usually come in like you said, I have one client, they come in on just Thursdays. The chef has the plates ready to go. They spend 2 hours taking pictures. They post, that's their calendar for 3 weeks, and they come back in 3 weeks on Thursday, right? So everybody has their different purposes. I'm not really into posting just to post, because like you said, right? I can, if you have 3,000 followers and you're posting every day, but nobody's seeing it, is it worth it? To me, no. That's not the business I want to be in. And the same thing for Instagram. Instagram, although it reaches more people, if you only have 500 people on Instagram and you're posting every day, is it worth it? Not really. That's not what I want to do. I want to bring in more customers. I want to get your profile bigger, so your current Instagram post person, when they post, they can reach more people, right? Like I said, I'm from Beverly Hills, and the old saying is out of sight, out of mind, right? So, if you're just posting to the same 500 people all the time, and you're not growing that number, then you're not getting new people in the door, right? And it's kind of like, I'm not sure if you heard of this, the Usain Bolt, the famous track athlete. Have you heard?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool. So you have Usain Bolts, and then you have like people like Jesse Owens who run miles, right? Now, even though it's running, and in this case it's